Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're unpacking India's ambitious journey in artificial intelligence. We're looking beyond just the numbers, really digging into significant shifts in policy, innovation, and infrastructure. These shifts are positioning India as, well, a really pivotal player in the global AI landscape.
Exactly. We'll explore what India's been doing, its future targets, but also touch on some key challenges. Ultimately, we want to understand why its unique approach, holds such significant implications for the world. Expect some fresh insights today.
Okay, let's dive right in. What has India actually accomplished so far? The government's making this clear push for sovereign AI. They see tech as absolutely fundamental for economic growth and, well, global leadership. But what does sovereign AI really mean in practice?
Yeah, good question. It's essentially about strategic independence. It lets India control its own AI destiny without heavy reliance on external powers, which is
Yeah.
crucial, especially for sensitive data and, national security applications. So this includes things like boosting domestic chip manufacturing and definitely increasing cloud compute capacity. A prime example is Aerowatt. That's their AI-specific cloud infrastructure launched back in 2023.
Airwatt, right. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah. Now, it's 656 GPUs. That sounds modest compared to giants like Meta or Microsoft with, tens of thousands. But it's competitively priced, offers discounts to Indian startups. It's laying that foundational compute. And there are bigger plans. The IT ministry is aiming for a 25,000 GPU cluster through public-private partnerships.
Okay, so it's not just about the raw computing power then. It seems it's also about how AI actually gets used across society. You mentioned digital public infrastructures, DPIs. Can you unpack what those are and why they're so foundational for India's AI strategy?
Absolutely. Think of DPIs as open, interoperable digital platforms, like India's UPI for payments or Aadhaar for identity. They're the digital roads and pipes. They allow AI to be sort of seamlessly integrated into public services and everyday applications.
Ah, I see. The plumbing for AI, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And the AI for All strategy leverages this directly. It focuses on applying AI in critical sectors, healthcare, agriculture, education. We're seeing this already. The National Informatics Center, their center of excellence in AI, is developing things like chatbots for farmers or AI for reading lung x-rays. And companies like Sarvam AI released OpenHathi, the first Hindi language model on Meta's architecture. CoreOver.ai's Farhat GPT supports over 12 Indian languages.
Wow, that's a huge focus on accessibility and local needs.
It really is. It's a powerful commitment.
But all this digital ambition, it needs strong physical foundations, right?
Mhm.
What's the story with India's data centers?
Oh, it's booming. The market's currently at about 1,255 megawatts capacity and projected to hit 4,500 megawatts by 2030. That's backed by over $60 billion invested just since 2019.
60 billion. That's serious investment.
Huge major hubs like Mumbai and Chennai are leading, sure, but we're also seeing growth spreading to tier 2 and 3 cities. It's laying the physical groundwork for really widespread AI adoption.
Okay, these advancements are definitely impressive. But let's look at the flip side. Some sources suggest that despite these strides, India's AI development has sometimes felt more reactive than perhaps truly strategic. What does that mean for their long-term goals?
That's a crucial point. While the policies are ambitious, implementation has often seemed like it's responding to global trends rather than, proactive long-term planning. And there are real resource constraints, particularly computing power for these really large-scale models.
By the GPUs you mentioned earlier.
Exactly. The demand could easily reach over 1 million GPUs. Compare that to the current 4,000, even with plans for 20,000 by FY25. It's a massive gap. Also, efforts to build a truly comprehensive data ecosystem, well, they've been a bit fragmented.
And what about the rules, the regulatory side? Ethics and privacy are so critical for AI.
Yes, vital. You have the Digital India Act and the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, the DPDPA. They aim to create that modern legal framework. However, the DPDPA, for instance, it was passed without public consultation. That drew criticism. Critics point to potentially weak protections, broad government exemptions. Some even call it more of a data processing law than real data protection.
That could create uncertainty, especially for startups relying on data.
It could. It suggests this tension, right, between saying responsible AI and maybe a structure that could lean towards government control rather than fostering a truly open, data-driven innovation space.
So a bit of a tightrope walk there. Innovation versus oversight. What about people? The talent needed to drive all this.
That's another big one. Lack of skilled talent is cited by, I think, 68% of venture capitalists as the biggest hurdle for Indian GenAI startups. And this ties into a slower AI adoption rate among large Indian companies compared to global peers. Lots of proofs of concept just don't make it to full production.
Okay, so putting this all together, what does this complex picture mean for you, the listener, and for India's actual position on the global AI stage?
Well, India's hosted major global AI summits. It's definitely positioned to influence global AI development.
Hmm.
And its focus on agentic AI is becoming really clear.
AgenticAI, remind us what that is.
Right, that's AI designed to perform tasks autonomously, often interacting directly with users or other systems, taking initiative. Over 80% of Indian businesses are already exploring these autonomous agents. Companies like Krutrim have even launched their own agentic AI assistants.
And that emphasis on local solutions, accessible tech, that really makes India's path different, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. The focus on edge AI and small language models, SLMs, that's crucial. SLMs are leaner, less resource-hungry AI models. They can run on devices, not just massive data centers.
Which is perfect for a country with diverse languages and, well, varying internet connectivity.
Exactly. SLMs need fewer resources, they process faster, can work offline. That makes them super cost-effective and accessible, especially in rural areas. It's a stark contrast to the huge centralized models dominating elsewhere.
So India's approach, it could genuinely offer a different model for AI development, something distinct from the sort of US-China AI race we hear so much about.
Precisely. Look at India's dynamic startup scene, seventh globally for new AI startups, over $1.2 billion in funding since 2020, plus a growing AI talent pool, especially centered around places like Bengaluru. The strategic focus seems less on just building foundational infrastructure and more on applying Gen AI in business and consumer applications. It's about exporting solutions, scaling these agentic systems globally.
So India's AI journey, it's really this blend, isn't it? Ambitious government policy, vibrant grassroots innovation, all aimed at growth and inclusion.
Yeah, and while those challenges we talked about, compute, regulation, talent, they're real, India's unique approach, heavily influenced by its DPIs, focusing on localized, accessible agentic AI, it presents a genuinely compelling alternative on the world stage.
It definitely raises a fascinating question for the future. Could India's pragmatic blend of policy, private innovation, and that sharp focus on real-world problems actually end up redefining the standards of digital maturity and AI leadership for everyone else? Something to mull over until our next deep dive.